Hi, Markus Pattern here. I'm doing a short, quick little video in which you get to watch the speed paint that I did for this hashtag REDRAWsailormoon challenge. A hashtag challenge that I managed to get on promptly. It's supposed to like ages down the line. So well done me. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot to say about Sailor Moon. And there's certainly nothing that any of you would want me to say other than it was an anime from the mid-90s. I wasn't particularly into it as a kid. I was more of a card captor Sakura kind of guy, and yeah, well, I redrew it, and here's the speed paint. And I'm guessing you all don't want to listen to the chiptune music that I've composed to go on top of it, so I figured I would do something kind of different, kind of new, and do like a Ask Markus Something series. Yeah, so because I have no social media followings really, I've only got one actual question from somebody. The next other two or three questions will be from a list that I plucked off the internet. If you're like, oh, I want to ask him a question, by all means, either message me on the email address on the screen now, or DM me or whatever. Just if you want to ask me a question, and I'll answer it in the next one of these speed paints I do. Well, I'm not rambling on about something specific like my thumbnail process or something. Which watch that video if you want. So yeah. Oh, 1, 2, 3, advert. I realise that might be quite jarring, just dropping into like the advert, so I'm going to start doing countdowns to them. Also gives me a good idea where I'm going to stick them in the edit. So well done me. So first question is what comic or cartoon really kicked your love of drawing and illustration? Well, I'm an old man, and I've got a lot of traction over the years, but I think, thinking back on it, and I have thought back on it, I'd probably have to say the thing that got me drawing things. I think the earliest memory I have is drawing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I think that's the earliest thing I ever drew. It's like, oh, as a fan art kind of thing. And then there was obviously X-Men, the animated series. But I kind of came up with my own characters and stuff for that. I never really drew fan art or something until I was like always coming up with my own ideas and stuff. You can't plagiarize if you're a 10-year-old. But what really straight up got me into like, oh, that's a trajectory and a style and an aesthetic that I'm going to steal and ape and whatnot, it would have to be Dragon Ball Z, I guess. I'm again being an old man trying to think back to what I used to do and what I've done. I seem to remember there being a lot more kind of like, oh, that looks like the Akira Toriyama's eyes and his nose, and yeah, and it honestly, if Dragon Ball Z hadn't been a thing, I probably wouldn't be as into anime as I am now, and a lot of my early influences come from basically just stealing aesthetics from early mid-90s and early 2000 anime really, and then there was also Neon Genesis, which had a profound impact. I mean, so behind that is I entered a competition, and I can't remember what the magazine. I think it was Manga Mania or something like that. Basically, there was this magazine for anime out in, I don't know, about 98 or some shit, or 90. How old am I? I'm quite old. When did I leave school? It's about like late 90s, early 2000s, and I entered the competition, and ADV sent me an entire VHS of Evangelion, and I automatically fell in love with it. And again, in terms of my artistic stylings, I started nicking from that. But also in terms of like the storylines and everything, basically the first proper like kind of fan arty kind of thing. Or was it fiction? Fan fiction? Slash, what yeah, was based on the tropes based on Neon Genesis. So I think that helped me develop my idea of what like story and character and whatnot is. I mean, I never published it. I never did anything with it. It's like one of those things like, oh, your first initial steps, like, you know. But yeah, that was so. Yeah, I think in terms of like artistic style, it would be Dragon Ball Z and Neon Genesis that really kind of like, oh, this is a thing that I want to go and do later on in my life. And then I discovered I discovered the bass and kind of ignored that for a decade and a bit. But hey, that's what it is. In terms of this, in terms of the comics and stuff, like, I mean, I'd probably have to say it'd be a mixture between like Adam Warren's Dirty Pair and the Ghost in the Shell manga, because I was like I was looking at that stuff, I think that's a style I can do. I can draw like that. There's something that I can actually do. And then I picked up Battle Chasers issue 4, and the artwork in those issues are absolutely fucking superb, and that became what I was aiming to do. I wanted to be that good, and I basically so Adam Warren's Dirty Pair and Ghost in the Shell was like what I was aiming, what I was saying that I knew I could do, and Joe Madio's Battle Chasers like that's what I'm aiming to do. It's the pantheon upon which I aim for. Whether I succeeded that or not is up to debate, I guess. Yeah. I hope that was more concise and less rambly than the last time I tried doing this. And if you can hear people laughing in the background because it's a Sunday and my wife and daughter are in the other room watching Secret Life of Pets 2, a timeless classic that will hold up forever. Though, question, is there a particular hill that I'm prepared to die upon? And that hill would be that Sing is probably the greatest animated movie of all time. I mean, the story is bare basic, it's a jukebox musical, but what Garth Jennings does with it is like everything's just like, it could have been just the most generic, basic thing ever. And the storyline is kind of generic, but like the artwork in it and the way the camera moves, the direction, basically everything about it. It's like, what was the most basic choice they could have made? And they thought, well, let's do that but extra. And there was so many things. I mean, I'm not going to go into it because I'm not going to start flashing up bits of Sing, and it would be just weird me just talking about an image that you're not seeing. So, yeah, I suppose it's a good enough time for an ad break. Ad break 2. So, ask the artist prompt list thing. Question number 1 on this thing is: do you prefer traditional or digital drawing? At the moment, I was born and raised on the streets of Philly, and traditional artwork is where I learnt my skills, and like I'm far better with a pencil and a biro. But with all this noise that is going on at the moment, I've been able to kind of sit down, focus truly, and get into the digital drawing a lot more than I've been able to, because like, you know, work and everything. And I must admit, I've now got the groove where I have just as much fun drawing digitally as I do traditionally. And I'm gonna have to say I prefer digital drawing just for the sheer fact that the Control Alt Z is there. I can be a lot more cleaner, a lot more preciser, and yeah, my results are consistently better. So yeah, at this moment in time, the year of your Lord 2020, in whatever day it is and whatever month we're in, May apparently, I'm gonna have to say I prefer digital drawing. Who knows what tomorrow may bring, but as of today, traditional drawing. As of today, digital drawing is where my mind is at. How long have you been drawing? A long time, I guess. So, I think when I moved from Cambridge to Newcastle, I was probably got into it. So since I was about 13, I guess. 13 up until about the age of 18, and then I kind of like stopped and got a job focused on music. So for the past decade and a bit, I've been basically from the age of like 20-ish till 30, I was trying to be a musician, and I was doing artwork as well, but my main concentration as a discipline was music. Turned out no one wants to hear me do music, and so everyone says I'm good at doing artwork, and I thought, well, it's a discipline I've got. And so for the past 6 years, basically since my daughter has been born, and the idea of going back out and starting a new band again while having a baby is just not pleasant. So I on and off since I was 13, but I've been concentrating on it properly since for the past 6 years, learning and stuff. So yeah, concentration. Yes, that's the answer to that question. Since I was 13, yeah. How many classes have you taken? I did about 3 months of. I did about 3 months of art college in Ashington, which, if you're not from the northeast of England, is a terrible place. So yeah, I dropped out of that because I think the first thing they got me to do was fashion, and that's just not for me. And I never really had any proper art training or formal training in high school. So it was. I think maybe I didn't like going there. 2, I was arrogant. I thought I could just go and make it on my own, and I didn't need no lessons. And yeah, I think looking back, I'd have told my stupid self to stick with it, just for the sheer contacts it would have given me. But yeah, but then again, it might have just basically totally broken my desire to do art as a career, as a profession. I mean, the amount of people I know who've been and done creative things at university or whatever, and then don't do that in their real lifey life is like, well, what was the point in that? But that's a whole other debate for the merits of university and all that noise. Thank goodness they charge for that shit now, so people can be babysitted to get a bit of paper to do something that they don't want to do. Anyway, that's so yeah. This has been a bit of a long rambling one. I haven't really written a script for this one or nothing. I hope this was interesting. If you like, I have some questions. Again, please email them to me or contact me via the social medias, which are linked in the below. The stuff I've been advertising is linked in the below as well. If you want to see this piece not cropped and everything, it's up on my Behance and DeviantArt page. I've been Markus Pattern. I hope you're staying well. I hope you're staying safe. Don't drink any bleach or take unprescribed medication that you're not meant to fucking take. And if shit gets too much for you and everything goes down the drain, a wise dude once proclaimed, "Shit happens. Get the whiskey."